We're yawning. Hello and welcome to episode 5 of this podcast. I am Tyler. I am one of the hosts.
I am Justin. I am the superior host.
And that is debatable. But this week we're going to talk about some video games. And I think pretty much video games. I don't know we have much more to talk about this week.
Same thing we always talk about, really. Video games.
Mhm. That is what I chose as my one personality trait. Probably I had the option of 10 things. I could have taken all 10, but video games was it. So, Justin, what have you been playing?
Uh, uh, Valorant. I've been playing more Valorant because Overwatch has been hurting my soul. I've just been trying to play. I've been playing more shooters recently to see what is, the popular one, what's good right now. The only one I haven't really given a shot is Modern Warfare 2, probably because it's the newest and everyone's
The
already
answer is
posting
Halo.
around it. Yeah, that is not the answer, no.
That is the go-to shooter. That is what should be
No.
the go-to shooter. Just saying.
I, I am yet to try Apex again, but I've been getting into Valorant recently because I never actually, dedicated time into trying to learn that game, and I don't know. I'm still bad at it, so yeah, that's just what I've been. The only game I've really been trying that's new to me. Other than that, I've been playing my usuals, my Dead by Daylight, keeping the streak going. I think I've hit 420 hours, 420. No, I'm
Gross.
at 412, almost there. That's the holy number.
I did just see you on Minecraft. So what's
Yeah, it's the 1 week obsession of the friend group. They've got a new realm, so that's starting again. It'll probably last like a month at most, and then never play it again for like a year. But yeah, that's happening.
well,
What have you been playing?
a whole lot of nothing. I intended to play a lot of Nier this week, Nier Automata. I did not get to play Nier Automata. I worked overtime this week and had to travel for work. The only thing I did was the Overwatch challenges for this week because I'm trying to finish the battle pass before I guess before season 3 starts in 10 days, 9 days, something like that.
Yeah.
So I did that. I'm at tier like 75, so I'm almost done. I'll finish it this week. But I didn't get to play anything. I need to go through this week because next week we're going to review Nier Automata as our video game book club game of the month for me. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be playing, but I did not get to play any of it this week. So that was fun. Overwatch 2, still pretty good. I feel like I am getting better. Actually, I've know for a fact I'm getting better because I'm actually able to contribute towards my team and not be totally incompetent. So yeah. Anything outside of gaming that you've been doing, watching, playing besides The Last of Us Part 2, or not Part 2, Episode 2, because that was good.
Um, I haven't started this, but with the release of Hogwarts Legacy coming up, I might need to rewatch the Harry Potter movies. I think those are on like HBO Max or something.
Well, we own them digitally as well. We have them on
No,
Vudu.
but yeah,
So you
I
got
might need to go
options.
through a rewatch.
I only watched the one show. I did read a book. I read the book in a matter of 2 days, which was YouTube Secrets by Benji Travis and Sean Cannell. I've actually read it before, but I bought the second edition on Kindle and I read through that over the last day or so. So that was good. Decent book. I recommend it. And your Christmas gift I got you came in, and then I had one coming for myself. The Avatar role playing game has released from Magpie Games. We've talked about playing D&D for like 2 years now. Never once did it. So I figured let's buy some more books about another role playing game that we're not going to play.
Don't say that. Don't jinx it like that.
So I did you look through it at all? Did you look at that book?
No, I forgot. It's still in the living room. It still
Oh
looks
my
like a
gosh.
package to you, so I forget.
I opened mine up. I looked at it for like 2 seconds and then I had to go to work or church or something like that. And then, yep. So we'll have to take a deep dive on that soon. Maybe actually play it or a regular D&D. Well, let's get on to the main topic this week. We watched, or you said you did watch it, right? You did your
I did
homework.
watch it, yes.
Okay, just making sure. Watch the developer direct from Xbox this week. They had 4 games announced. One was a added game, so 5 games total. And let's start with just the format. What did you think of the way it was laid out? Like, did you enjoy watching the show, or was it cringe, or did you hate it?
Um, I don't know. It seems like a regular direct to me. There's parts I'm more interested in and less interested in, specifically less interested in Forza and a lot of the anything that's to do with most racing games. I've never been a big racing games person, but I've always gone. I kind of got tuned out with certain topics, but I don't know. I think it was laid out pretty well.
Yeah, I
What
think
about you?
I like the deep dive style. Like when Last of Us 2 was coming out, or God of War Ragnarok, they would have like a 10 to 20 minute video that's like all about the game and talk about different aspects. Now this was a little more of a like long form, like a little bit longer than Nintendo Directs, because at least Directs normally have some trailers and stuff, but I like the deep dive into each game. They gave each game 5 to 10 minutes, able to break it down, talk about all kinds of stuff, and I felt like it was easier to follow, and I got more interested in the games than like normal E3. Like here's a trailer after a trailer after a trailer, and I forgot what that trailer was 4 trailers ago. I like the deep dive into like, all right, these are the games we're showing. Let's just, you know, also I like talking to the developers. I like the fact that they actually went to the studios, filmed, the leads or whoever to talk about these things. I did appreciate that. I thought it was better than just some random person, reading off a prompt and just, oh, this game's gonna do this and this. And it's like, no, the developers are talking about what they like. Well, let's get the one that I think you and I are least interested in, which was Forza. Uh, did you kind of already hinted at it, but what were your thoughts on that game? Excited, didn't care, thought it was dumb, any of the
Uh,
above, all the above.
I'm excited for people that like racing games, but I've never been a big racing games fanatic. The only ones I've played have been like the cartoonish, Mario Kart styled ones, or the Crash Team Racing, which apparently is phenomenal according to you and everyone
It
else I
is
know.
it is my favorite kart racer of all time. The newest one, oh, it's so good.
But other than that, like I've never been able to get into a realistic racing game. I've tried Forza before and I don't know. It's not my cup of tea, but I can see the appeal. I can see like everything they showed off looked nice and most of it was like graphical and it was showing how they go into detail, like paint chips and every minor detail is impressive. But again, I've just never been a big racing games person. So
Yeah, I'm in a similar boat. I did play a bit. I've already talked on this podcast multiple times about Gran Turismo 7. My roommate is really the one that's more excited about like Forza and that type of game. He's actually out in the living space right now watching, I don't know, some sort of race that's on this weekend at Daytona. Uh, he's more excited about it. I am passively interested. I've played Motorsport 5. I've played I think a bit of Motorsport 6. It's okay. I'm just not a sim racer person. I really enjoy Forza Horizon. That was like the first racing game I ever actually got into that wasn't Mario Kart, was Forza Horizon 2. And I've played 3 and 4 and 5. And, I've never like gotten super into them where I put like 50 hours into them. But they're good games. But Motorsport is a little more simulation racing. Not quite my cup of tea, but I agree. It was impressive. Looked really good. I imagine it's going to be a fairly good game. when it comes out. That was the only one that didn't have a release date. But yeah, when it comes out, should be pretty good. Well, well, since we talked about Minecraft earlier, because you're playing that, what about Minecraft Legends? What'd you think on that one?
I need to do more research onto this one. Have mixed feelings about it. It looks interesting. What kind of like play style, like kind of game is it again? Isn't it like
I don't know.
almost an RT? I
It
every time
looks
they
like,
show off gameplay, I get one sec. I'm cheating with Google this time because
oh my gosh.
I
Well, I'll talk for a minute while you're looking stuff up. I think it looks interesting. I was actually surprised. I did not care about this game. I've seen it trailers before, and I was like, yeah, it doesn't matter to me. Doesn't matter to me. After watching this direct, I was like, this looks really cool because the multiplayer, which is what they focused on, was like RTS style, where it's like you have a base. I wouldn't really consider it MOBA style, but it just reminded me of an RTS where it's like, oh, we're gonna build the base and build defenses, and then we're gonna go across the map and fight them. But there's also like a living world, so I can go find a different mount, or I can go get these mobs that I'm gonna lead them to go fight. It was unique. I don't know. I thought it looked really cool, and just the opportunities for building or crafting or setting up an outpost or the cannons and like the labyrinth they talked about. I just thought it was like different in a very good way that I went from not caring about this game to I can't wait to try it when it's on Game Pass. Like I'm not sure I would go out of my way to buy it. I did play Minecraft Dungeons, the Diablo clone, and I did like that. I got all the achievements before the DLC came out. I don't think these games are bad, and I'm kind of curious. I wouldn't have expected this to have a multiplayer, so I really don't know what to expect from this game. What'd you find out?
sorry, I basically just without audio rewatched the gameplay trailer. I don't know. I'm scared because I've never actually played a game like it, but I'm really excited for it for some reason. It looks very fun. I've never played many of the strategy type games, but I probably have to play it with somebody as well. Maybe I'll
It's
force
one
you
of
to play with
those.
me or something because
Yeah, we could sit down and play it for sure. It's one of those things that I don't know. Like, is it a strategy game or is it like an action game, or is it both per se?
it looks like a bit of both. It
Interesting.
confuses me, but it looks really fun.
Well, I think the direct did its job in that way, which is I did not care about this game too. I kind of want to play this game now. All right, we'll go from there to ESO, which I have 1 hour experience playing Elder Scrolls Online. You have a few more hours per se.
Yeah.
What did you think? Were you interested? Did that kind of jump out at you as, hey, maybe I should try it again, or what was
I'm
happening?
slightly annoyed because if I maybe I'm remembering incorrectly, but didn't they tease like the DLCs are just being free for everybody now?
No, the
The
expansions have
previous
been
DLCs?
paid every single.
I thought that's what the direct said, that I might have to rewatch the portion again, but I'm pretty
They
sure a
may
lot
have
of the
said
DLCs
included
are
with Game
becoming
Pass.
maybe. I don't know. If that is, I'd still be upset at that because I've paid a lot of money for some of the DLCs. And because the one page had it, it's not even just the expansion, some of like the Thieves Guild stuff, some of the stuff that you normally have to pay just like $5 for, but it helps out a lot in the game. And it's just kind of annoying to spend money on, but you kind of have to do it, was becoming free. It, it's easier to get now. And I don't know. I am a fan of the game, hence me purchasing some of the expansions and DLCs. I've never gotten absurdly into it. I've never gotten a big group to play it, and solo MMOs terrify me. But I don't know. I am going back and playing this. In fact, I just re-updated it like last night, so I'll have to look more into it. But
Do you have any interest in the theme? I mean, there's a new class, which was
the
the
Arcanus,
yeah,
kind
and then
of
you're going back to
the
Morrowind. So I
yeah.
don't know if any of that means anything to you.
I don't have any like nostalgia to it because I'm basically a fetus. I was born like in 2004. So I did not play Morrowind, and I played a little bit of Oblivion because you got it for me for like my 8th birthday, and that's the most I remember.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been told that Morrowind, I mean, it's very dated, but a lot of people consider Morrowind to be the best one. Skyrim's obviously the newest, most accessible. Most people recommend if you're going to start in Elder Scrolls, you start there. But I have heard a lot of diehard fans of the series say Morrowind is top tier. But Morrowind's weird. That's a whole nother discussion. I've never played any of them, to be very clear. Played like an hour of ESO, and I played like an hour of Skyrim. That's it. So I'm coming at this from a distance. I did actually want to get into ESO like a year or two ago. That's when you and I played like an hour or two together, and then
Never
we did
touched it
not follow
again.
through. And now like this year in particular, I'm not quite interested, even though I do think it looks cool and I want to check out the series. I'm playing Blizzard games this year. I'm already going to be getting into WoW and WoW Classic. I don't plan on adding a quote unquote third MMO into that category this year. But it was intriguing. I think it's cool. I think the Morrowind aspects and the Arcanist, or is it Arcanist? Arcanist? What is the
Arcanist, I think.
okay? That word. I think that's pretty cool for the fans of the game, and I hope that it turns out well. There was a separate stream afterwards. Did you watch that? Because I did not.
I did not know.
No, there was a whole 35-minute separate stream about the ESO expansion. So if anybody's listening and you're interested in that, go check that out because I mean that's a whole deep dive into that game, which I'm a fan of. All right, we're gonna talk about the surprise game next. Hi-Fi Rush. That was what it's called, right? I
Yeah.
just okay. I wrote that down because I'm like, this is what it is, and I'm realizing now I might be an idiot.
Sorry, before we get into this, I just searched it. It's for a limited time, but from January 25th, like 20 plus DLCs, including the expansions, are just free on ESO. I think it's to get people to try to do free trials for the ESO Plus like membership. But
Well, I wouldn't be
I'm
a fan.
pissed.
It's a free trial.
I,
How does that bother you?
no, it's not like a free weekend. It's no.
For how long?
I don't see the ending date. I see one sec. Talk about Hi-Fi Rush. I'm mad.
Okay. Hi-Fi Rush. It's from Tango or Django or some sort of. It's from a game studio. We can go with that. They're the people that made Evil Within, Evil Within 2, and Ghostwire Tokyo. This game is nothing like those. There's no horror elements to my knowledge. I have not played it. It shadow dropped this week, so I could have played it. Did not have time. I would have loved to, because that would be a perfect talking point on the podcast. But music, rhythm based, it looks really, really cool. Looks like it's animated phenomenally. And based on a lot of reactions on Twitter, reviews haven't gone out yet because it was kind of a hey, surprise, here's a full game right now. But from what I've read on Twitter, like people are absolutely loving this game. They think it's phenomenal. So yeah, that game came out. I don't normally play that type of genre or anything. It's on Game Pass. I might check it out, especially because it's got great reviews, but I don't know what else to add. Justin, how'd your research go?
I don't see an ending date, but yes, Hi-Fi Rush. Sorry, I'm hooked on this now. Uh, I had not heard of Hi-Fi Rush. I don't think anyone really heard of Hi-Fi Rush until this. I've never played a lot of rhythm games, but this one made me want to try them because it looked very fun. I like the art style. I don't know. I think it looks like a simple game just to get hooked on for like 8 hours.
Well, this one I have some more opinions on this last one, which I think is the biggest game, at least the one that Xbox is toting is the biggest game. Redfall, which is they describe it a very specific way. I look at it as Left 4 Dead meets Destiny meets Far Cry with vampires. So The developers are continually saying like this is not like Left 4 Dead. This is not like Left 4 Dead. They're trying to get away from that image. They're saying it's more like a Far Cry game in terms of the world and exploring and other stuff. I don't know what I think about this game so far. I'm not as excited as some people are. My phone just went off and it wanted to let me know that I still own the Lord of the Rings on Kindle, which I it's not like I was at risk of losing that, so I don't know
Just
why
in
they told
case
me
you
that.
forgot.
Just in case, yeah. By the way, you own this. Do you want to read it? No, I don't. I don't know how to read. I don't. So some of my problems with the game. Whoa, that was a great. I don't know what I said, but it was not words. So some of my problems with this game. So it's made by Arcane, who made Dishonored, and they made Prey, and they made Deathloop. Did you play any of those games?
Uh, no,
Are you even a gamer?
I'm a fake gamer. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I've played Dishonored 1, and that's it, of that bunch. Uh, so yeah, limited knowledge. Although I watched a playthrough of Dishonored 2 and the Death of the Outsider expansion standalone game. And I've seen a lot. I've watched mostly a playthrough of Deathloop. Games intrigued me. I enjoyed Dishonored 1. I really enjoyed it. I got really mad at Dishonored 1 because I was going for a like no killing run, and I think there's like one or maybe two levels where like I knock somebody out and you automatically like pick him up over your shoulder. I dropped him, on the side of his building or whatever where he would be safe. And like one of his limbs happened to be hanging off the railing, and for whatever reason, gravity decided to just pull him, and he fell off the railing into the water, and I got a kill for that. And so my run was not flawless. And I got really annoyed. I never felt like going back, but I did finish the game. I just accepted that it was not a, you know, no killing run at that point.
Did you start killing after that?
I don't think I did. I stayed stealth, and in that game, when you're just staying stealthy and not killing, it gets very difficult towards the end. From what I remember, it was miserable. So, all in all, I enjoyed Dishonored. I've seen, like I said, a lot of playthrough of Prey, a lot of Deathloop, Dishonored 2, so on and forth. I Those games are very stylized. They're not realistic photographics. They're kind of cartoony, but they look good. Prey is a little more realistic, but like it's got its unique style and it looks graphically really good. I don't think Redfall looks very good. It's clearly not a graphics showcase kind of game, but it doesn't look very animated. So you just have like these real looking weapons against these like weird, lanky, not really cartoony looking vampires. I it I'm not a fan of it. It doesn't look cartoony, so it doesn't look like it's a stylized game, but it doesn't look very realistic. It looks kind of outdated and old looking. So I think it just looks bad, like graphically at least. And gameplay wise, it looks weird. There was a lot of focus on hip fire, which was fine. I don't have any problems with games that do that. Like I said, Left 4 Dead was a great example of the entire game's like hip fire unless you have like a sniper or something. But it doesn't look intriguing. Like the map that they showed, they're like, oh, you can do this mission over here. The mission seemed very basic, not very interesting, and I don't know why I'm doing it. They have like four classes with their own unique system, but none of them they looked fine and they looked unique and like they had special abilities, but nothing jumped out at me as I want to go play that or this character for sure. Or I don't know. I guess maybe Borderlands is another good, throw that in there where it's like, oh, these classes with unique abilities, they look fine. I mean, they look like they're check marks of a modern game where it's like, oh, classes, RPG elements, shooting, unique zombie-like enemy, uh, small open world, which I have no idea what the size of the open world is, but they're showing that like Redfall map that was, I think it was not really like an in-game map or anything like that, but it didn't look very big. And I just wasn't sold. And the only thing that was interesting to me was the later level like raids and the specialty weapons and everything. And I didn't understand like, is that the end goal? Is it like a looter shooter like Borderlands or Diablo where you're trying to get the higher end stuff? Because everything kind of looks just like standard military weapons, occasionally with a stake on them to kill vampires. Like nothing jumped out at me as, oh, this is a really unique, amazing game that Xbox is, gonna have. It's like it looks fine. It looks fun. I'm definitely gonna play it. Especially it's on Game Pass, so I'm definitely gonna play it. But I don't think it didn't look special to me. I know I just did a lot of talking, so I'm gonna let you go here. What were your thoughts?
In my opinion, it just didn't look like a game that was supposed to be in an Xbox Direct. It looks like it's like a small studio game is making it, or small game studio is making it. Jesus, similar to like Phasmophobia, where it could be like popular, but it's not like it doesn't have the level of polish that you'd expect from a Microsoft money, Xbox Direct game. Where I don't know, I'm not trying to say it's bad, and especially because it looks like it came from a small studio. That's offensive to small studios.
Well, it's funny because it's not, I don't know how big Arcane is compared to other things, but that's not a small studio. Like
Hmm.
they've built like big blockbuster games. They
Yeah, that's
haven't
what I
always
mean. It just
reviewed
doesn't look like
well,
it
but
should be coming from, God, having Microsoft money. But I don't know. I am semi excited for this game. I don't think it's going to be a masterpiece. I actually don't even think it might. I don't think it's going to review very well, but I think it's just a simple game that, you could get a couple friends together and beat it, not put too much time into it. But I don't know. I'm excited for it. Again, I think it's going to be okay at best. I don't want to say it's going to be bad, but that could just be wishful thinking.
yeah, I, I don't think it'll be bad. I'm curious what level of polish. Like their previous games have always reviewed very well and like critically been amazing. And then financially, not so much. It's not so much
Hmm.
that they don't, not that they're bad games by any means. They just never quite that, they never quite get that same level of marketing and everything else. I'm so in the middle about it. It could come out and be absolutely amazing. I'm going to eat my own words and then I'm going to celebrate the game, champion it. Or I'm going to be like, yeah, this is a fun game that I'm going to play with you and maybe, some other people. And then after 10, 20 hours, be like, all right, cool. I'm not really touching that. Um, I hope it doesn't end up being like a Sea of Thieves. That's part of my concern. I don't want Microsoft to push this game out and to be decent and have a good like core gameplay where it's like, oh, you're shooting, killing these zombie-like things, fighting vampires. There are some later level, higher end, like Destiny strikes or raids, but that's it. And then, oh, we have a season 1 starting 2 months into the game. And then by like season 4, like, oh, the game's gonna be amazing. Like, yes, but I don't want to wait 4 seasons for a game to be amazing, and I'm
Hmm.
worried that Microsoft might do that. I don't know. I'm very skeptical on this one, and this is like their big game where I think Minecraft Legends is the one where it's like, no, you just sold me on this game. Meanwhile, this game for Redfall, I'm like, well, I'm still in the middle. You didn't sell me. I was gonna play it anyways, but you didn't sell me. So, and then there's always the fact that there's supposed to be more games. It's interesting because they dropped Hi-Fi Rush this month. They have February off, March off, and then they have which one came out in April? Was that one? Maybe I think it was Minecraft Legends came out in April, right?
Minecraft Dungeons
No. Minecraft
or
Dungeons
Legends?
was
Oh,
the previous one. Legends
sorry.
is the new one.
Yeah, I think
Uh,
that's April one.
so you have that in April, Redfall in May, the ESO expansion in June. So like Xbox is stacked their first half of the year, and they still don't even have. They don't have a release date for Forza. They're going to do their own separate event for Starfield. Nobody knows where Hellblade is, or Fable, or uh, Avowed, or what's some of the games they're working on? Perfect Dark. So, I mean, the first half of this year, they already have, 4 games dropping 4 separate months. So we'll see. We talked about when we're doing our predictions for this year that Microsoft, if they fire on all cylinders, will have the best year out of all the platforms. I think this is firing on all cylinders for the first half, as long as all these games are good and Hi-Fi Rush is reviewing well. And I'm confident that the ESO expansion and Forza are going to meet standards. I don't know about exceeding standards, but I think people have expectations for those things. I'm sure the ESO expansion going to meet the standards of the previous ones. I'm sure Forza is going to be really good. It looks really good. And Minecraft Legends will probably be a nice surprise and appealing to Minecraft fans and people like me that are like, wow, this looks unique. I'm going to go play it. So I think overall was a net positive. I think Xbox is looking good for the year. We know for sure they're supposed to be coming out again with Forza at some point and Starfield. And we don't even know what the fall looks like. So I don't know. Do you have any other closing thoughts on Microsoft and what they're doing over at Xbox right now?
No, not that I can think of. I think you really
Sorry, I do a lot of
you had some
talking.
strong opinions on. But no, I mostly agreed with what you said. I'm kind of skeptical on if they'll hit all the boxes, but I don't know. I'm not too worried that anything's gonna fail. They have competition with big Nintendo names.
And we still don't even know what is Sony doing besides Spider-Man,
Yeah,
which not to be console wars wise, but let's say Starfield gets pushed to the fall because they already have a stacked spring. So I could see that. Like, I would argue there's even reason where you already have, even outside of Xbox, like Breath of the Wild, Hogwarts Legacy, Star Wars Jedi Survivor. In June, not only do you have ESO expansion, but you also have Street Fighter and Final Fantasy 16 and Diablo 4 all releasing the same month. So I could see them pushing it back to the fall, even just to give it some space. But console wars wise, not that either of us care. We both play all the platforms, but as of right now, it's Spider-Man 2 versus what would be like Starfield, possibly Hellblade, Forza. Like, I don't know, Mike. They still have a lot of things in their favor as long as they hit the mark on these games. That's a great voice crack there. All right, you ready to draft?
yes.
All righty then. So this week we are drafting what was going to be Xbox franchises. I don't know why I felt like I was choking there when I said that. Xbox franchises. I then decided while looking at them, that unless we include Bethesda, Xbox doesn't have a lot of great franchises. And Justin and I have only played so many of them, really being like Halo and Gears. I don't even think Justin's played Gears. Yeah, and I guess they have like Forza as well, but and Forza Horizon, if you count those separate, I guess I would. Motorsport and Horizon. Regardless, without including Bethesda, there wasn't a whole lot to pick from. And I didn't really want to include Bethesda. Just wasn't feeling that draft. So instead we pivoted. Today we are going to be drafting the greatest controllers of all time. Our picks for best controllers that if we had to only play with these ones is what we're going for. And that disqualifies keyboard and mouse, or specifically going controllers. No arcade fight sticks for fighting games, no racing wheels, no Guitar Hero guitar, no banana dude from Twitch beating Dark Souls. Just
No
regular,
dance pads.
plain, no dance pads, just plain controllers. So Justin, I had the first pick last week. So it seems that you have the number one.
I'm gonna take the NES controller.
Are you really?
Yeah,
Wow. That was not where I was going to
strictly
go at
for
all.
design and nostalgia. It's not like I like it, but it's not like modern or anything. I would never use it to like be one of those crazy people that tries beating Dark Souls with it or something. But I don't know. It's I feel like you can anything when people think of controller, this is what they think sometimes. There's backpacks that look like NES controllers. I think
No, it's
you have a
definitely
backpack that looks like
it.
an NES
It's
controller.
I do. I use it to carry my laptop around
It's
whenever I go to
iconic,
work or
it's
wherever.
it's not always the most nice to use. It's dated, obviously, but I don't know. It's the NES controller.
Well, I was not going to go there. Although I do like where your thoughts are because I was not thinking about that at all. It's definitely probably the most iconic controller of all time. Well, I am going to choose. This one is easy. It is my favorite controller of all time. I use it constantly to this day. I'm sad because I at some point need to buy a new one here soon because I put thousands of hours. But the Xbox Elite controller, it is customizable. It has a long battery life. It it is just there is a little bit of issue where after several hundred hours it starts to drift. But that's also just a normal controller.
Yeah.
I genuinely think it's probably one of the best controllers, if not the best controller of all time. Absolutely love it. It's my go-to. Yeah, I can't say.
Is that one that has like customizable like back things and
Yep, it's
extra
got the back,
buttons
the
and
paddles
doohickeys?
and everything. So like when I play shooters on console like Halo, it'd be weird for me to try to switch back to a regular controller because I constantly use those back paddles.
Hmm.
And then you can switch out the D-pad, you can even like the joysticks you can switch out. Like everything is so customizable. The sensitivity for the triggers, all really, really good. And I just prefer Xbox. I prefer that mold for the hand and everything and the way it fits. So Xbox controller, Xbox Elite controller, absolute best. And the next one has a little bit of personal bias. I also just think it's the coolest, one of the coolest looking controllers. And it's perfect for one game in particular. Okay. There's a reason it's still playable to this day because it is built for Smash Bros. It is the best Smash Bros. Controller. That is the GameCube controller
Yeah.
because the GameCube controller has got that sweet, sweet purple or other colors. You got the nub C stick, perfect for the smash attacks. It's just it's also like the modern controller. Like a lot of controllers were based on the GameCube controller after that was released. And it's just the perfect Smash Bros. Controller. I mean, I don't know what else I could say besides it's phenomenal. It's iconic. It's great to use. You got the pressure triggers and everything. I had to have it. That's yeah, that's my pick. Justin, what you have two more picks?
Um, Well, I was going to say, actually, I think I'll still stick with it, even though now that I'm looking at it, it's kind of ugly. The Xbox 360 controller.
Ugly. How
That
dare
thing is
you?
hideous. Then it's got curves. I don't like it. But it's another iconic one. I'm going off of the feeling and the aesthetic. I wasn't even an Xbox 360 kid. I was playing PlayStation 3 when that happened, but You had it, and I remember the controller, and I remember that aggressive white with a light green X on the top, and everyone freaking out when they got like the red ring of death or whatever.
Well, there's that. Yeah.
That's not even the controller, but still. It had the weird colored A, B, Y, and X. I don't know if that was on all of them. There it is.
It was. Yep. I will say,
And they didn't
for your
change it too
pick,
much with Xbox One and
no,
the
they did change the mold a little bit. But I will say the Xbox 360 controller is probably the most comfortable controller to use, like ever. Like I do think I like the bulkiness when they changed it going to the Xbox One, and right now the series is basically the same controller.
Mhm.
But the 360 controller was just one of the best controllers of all time. I mean, a lot of people still like if they're playing PC games on controller, they get a 360 controller. Well, you have a third round pick next. What you got?
This one is hard. I really don't want to give Nintendo any wins because I don't think I like a lot of their controllers. But I'm gonna say the Switch Pro controller.
You're going to Switch Pro.
Yes, strictly because it's one of the few Nintendo controllers that I don't like despise. And wait, are we actually wait, let me before I say that, are we including like the Wii, like the Wiimotes?
Wiimote and
The
Nunchuck is in combo.
never mind, never mind. That's it right there.
You're going
The Wiimotes. Yep.
Nunchuck.
Yeah, right there. It's another icon. Multiple TVs know this one from having them be thrown at them. It's, I got a bucket of Wii games next to me, I think.
When you have a
Yeah,
bucket of Wii games next to you.
it's not a bucket of Wii games. I could fill a bucket with it. A lot of these games I don't even like anymore, but it's the Wii. I don't even really have to say much. Any Wii bowling, Wii Wii baseball, the weird fencing thing that was really janky and not very fun to play.
The Wii Sports Resort stuff.
Yeah.
Well,
Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword terrible motion controls. That was the Wii baby. It was beautiful. Reggie died for this, even though he's still alive.
yeah, I don't know where you were going with that, so
It's Reggie's legacy.
I'm gonna move on from there. Well, I'm glad you pivoted because Switch Pro was my next pick. So I actually it's not as good like a feeling as the 360 or the Xbox controller. Although I think I prefer it to the modern like the PS5 or really any of the PlayStation controllers. I think I still prefer the Switch Pro controller to those. But that controller has like 80 hours of battery life. Like it is phenomenal. And it has that like plastic that's kind of see-through, that like tech colored underneath because you can, see through it.
Yeah.
I have one in front of me. Hold on. Yeah. I don't know. I absolutely adore the Switch Pro controller. It's like I said, it's not the best feeling controller, so it doesn't have that going for it. And actually, mine, I must have spilled something on it because my buttons are a little sticky. I actually have a second one unopened in a box behind me, but I haven't. I don't know. I can't move on from the first one yet. Yep, Switch Pro controller, fantastic. My preferred way to play the Switch. And oh boy. Okay, I'm gonna go. You have an iconic one with the NES. I'm gonna go with the original Xbox Duke controller. Do you know what this controller is?
I'm Googling it, so no.
It was the worst controller possibly of all time. You looking at
Oh wait, yes I do. Oh God.
it? So
Jesus.
they actually remade it for modern Xbox controllers. I want to buy one and I just haven't. But it's hideous. It's
Why
bulky.
is it so
It's
thick?
not very functional. Like it's not a good controller. Xbox later came out with what's called the S-type controller, which I did not draft. But yeah, the Duke is iconic. I mean, to this day, like I still want to buy that new version because like, oh man, that's what people played Halo on back when it came out. So,
This is terrifying.
well, Justin, you have another two picks. What you picking here?
Uh, since we're talking about comfortability, I'm gonna choose something that I never found comfortable. Maybe other people did. I hopefully not, because this thing's like a torture device to feel in your hands. The DualShock 2. I think it's the PS2 one, right? Yeah, DualShock 2.
Yes.
Uh, Looking back at it, I don't understand how I'd use this to play Uncharted 2, or not Uncharted 2, Jack and Daxter 2. This just looks painful, but I don't know. It reminds me of my childhood and seeing them, get really dusty and me not dusting them off.
Yeah,
I don't know.
we
I
had a
like it.
green back in the day, like plastics that you could see through were all the rage,
Just the thing.
and we had that like ugly
It's
neon dark
hideous.
green. Um, but that controller is awesome. I think it broke because we don't have it anymore. But yeah, no, those controllers. I agree with you. When I was a kid, loved them. Nowadays, they would hurt my hand to use for more than like an hour.
These do not look comfortable. These.
And I know because I used a PS3 controller when I was playing the God of War PSP game, and I actually busted out. I don't like the DualShock controllers. I'm gonna complain about it for a minute. I don't like the DualShock controllers. Basically, DualShocks 1, 2, and 3 were the exact same thing, just updated to that console.
Mm.
Incredibly uncomfortable. But what I did find, and I purchased like 3 years ago that I've never used until last week, uh, Power A makes off brand controllers for the PS3 that are shaped exactly like an Xbox 360 controller with the sticks that are adjusted to an Xbox 360 and everything. Like they're basically Xbox 360 controllers for the PS3, and that's how I played the game, and it was way better. So, just saying that I'm not a fan of that, but I do like the pick because that was my childhood. Well, Justin, you have another one. What you going with?
I'm gonna be a Sony shill for now and say the DualSense, the regular DualSense, not DualSense Edge. Just because I use it, I use it a lot. It, I think Sony realized people enjoy not hurting their hands when they play games. They made it a bit thicker. And I don't know. Mine lasted quite a while before drifting. And it lasted like, how long have I had my PlayStation? I've been using the same controller since I first got it, I think. So a hot minute, if we're using scientific terms. It's not the perfect controller, but I don't know. It's still nicer than whatever the hell they had before.
I do agree with that. Well, that leaves me with my last two. I'm gonna go with. It's kind of tough, actually. I already have two Xbox ones. I have two Nintendo ones. Hmm. Okay. I'm gonna go with. Oh gosh, this is not easy. I'm gonna go with Joy Cons.
Disgusting.
So Joy Cons are wonderful and terrible at the same time. They absolutely suck because their quality is apparently crap. Now I don't mind the rumble features, although I never actually use them. I think it's overrated. They work fine when you're playing like Nintendo Switch Sports and doing like motion controls. The problem is they clearly aren't built that great to handle pressure for drifting. I'm terrified to ever play a game like Smash Bros. Or anything where I might be like, throwing the stick back and forth, quickly for movement or whatever. Because I'm terrified I'm going to break it. So huge design flaw. However, there's nothing more appealing to me than laying in bed. I have this little clamp attached over my bed. I can put my Switch on it, and my arms can just be resting down at my side, and the Joy Cons are separated, so my arms don't have to be like connected or near, the same position or anything. And just being able to relax and like have my arms in whatever position, my hands just chilling in my pockets, even if I wanted, and to still be able to play the game because they're separable and they're like portable. That's like the most comfortable thing for playing a game. Like I said, I can't play intense games because I'm terrified of breaking it. But yeah, you can't get over the fact that you can just detach them, separate them, and then just chill whatever position you want. As long as you can fit them in your hands, you're good to go. I
I
take it
can't believe you.
you don't like the Joy
No,
Cons.
if we had a draft that was least favorite, those would probably be number one on my pick. I do not like the Joy Cons. They last about 28 minutes before something goes wrong with them. They're very fragile. You have to treat them like they're a baby, and I don't understand. I think it's cool that you can attach them and detach them, but again, it's really fragile. You have to be really careful about putting it into the dock and everything. That doesn't have to do with the Joy-Con specifically, but the Switch as a whole. I've never heard such an ill opinion from you before, and I can't believe you. You can take your Joy-Con pick and shove them right up your ass because what the hell? Oh,
Well, I didn't realize you were so passionate about
I am
this.
very passionate
So
about it. And spend $70 on a replacement pair that you're probably not going to use. You're just going to have them so they can be attached to your Switch while you use your Pro controller.
I do prefer the Pro controller. That is true. All right. My final pick. I was going back and forth between two options. One of them deserves respect. One of them doesn't. So I'm going to go with the N64 controller because it makes no sense. It's not a great controller. Its build quality was even terrible. Those sticks. We want to talk about drift and breaking joysticks. Oh man, those things are hot garbage. Like they break easy. They work terribly. The controller is built for the person with three hands. There's one joystick. Just just an odd, bad controller, but it's also the most unique and iconic controller. Um, it's just so weird, and I don't know. I like that. So N64 controller. That's gonna be my last pick. And you
I'm
have
looking at the N64 controller. It looks like a disturbed GameCube controller.
it's definitely
Like it's been
it's a
hurt.
bit funky.
Like,
It's gone through some stuff, man.
yeah. Okay. Is this my last pick?
This is your last pick. So I'll read the
Okay.
list real quick. I have the Xbox Elite controller, the GameCube controller, Switch Pro, the original Duke controller, Joy-Cons, and the N64. You have the NES controller, 360, the Wiimote and Nunchuck, the DualShock 2, and the DualSense.
Okay. So for my last pick, then I'm gonna go for the SNES controller because I can't think of any more controllers, and it's close in, aesthetics to the other controllers. It's not. I don't think it's as pretty as the NES controller, but I don't know. It's up there. I've used it before. I think I've used it probably more than the actual NES controller. So yeah,
I
that is my
don't
last
think
pick.
I've used it at all.
Don't you have one?
I have a SNES Mini,
Yeah. Okay. Well,
and I don't remember even actually
potato
playing it. To be
tomato.
fair, so
I think I used it.
yeah, I don't remember using it myself. I know I used my NES Mini. That's how I played the first Metroid, and that's how I beat the first Metroid. But yeah, maybe we've. I guess I have played it a little bit because we played like the original Mario Kart on there. not a lot of experience with that personally. Well, here are some of the things that were not drafted. Is the modern Xbox One slash Series controller. They're basically the same thing. Series controller literally just added a share button. That's it. And a better D-pad, in my opinion. I think, if I remember correctly. The OG S-type Xbox controller. We did not draft any Sega controllers. We didn't draft the original PS1 without the joysticks. Because honestly, why would you? So there's that. Did not draft the DualShock 4. There's a brand new controller. The DualSense Edge just dropped. Obviously, I don't think either of us have experience with that.
No.
I plan on getting one. I might have one next month sometime, unless I talk myself out of it. But that's basically the PlayStation competitor to the Xbox Elite controller. Although I've heard it's got terrible battery life. I don't know if you've
I've
seen that.
seen a couple complaints that it has a worse battery life than the base DualSense.
Yeah, which is weird because like the Elite controller for Xbox, it has like 30, 40 hours. Like it has a lot. The DualSense Edge apparently is like, you get 4 hours out of it and then it's gonna be plugged in. And I don't pretty much always play plugged in anyways, but that's kind of weird. Like, really? But we also did not draft the Wii Classic or Pro controller, whatever the normal-ish controller was for the Wii. We did not draft the normal-ish controller for the Wii U. And we also did not draft the Wii U gamepad. I was thinking about drafting that one for a long time, and then I settled for Joy-Cons and N64. But the Wii U gamepad was basically the Switch before the Switch, just tied to a console.
Yeah, the failed Switch.
I like the gamepad. I'm kind of sad I didn't get to draft it. Finalists, I had Xbox Elite controller, GameCube, Switch Pro, Duke, Joy-Cons, N64. You had the NES, SNES, Xbox 360, Wiimote, DualSense, and DualShock 2. Not specifically in that order. I don't know why I read those out of order, but I did. And I think that's it. The next Last of Us episode comes out in about 3 hours, so I'm going to watch that. And Ron Swanson is in this week's episode, so definitely going to watch that. Justin, any closing thoughts or comments?
No, not. Go watch Last of Us. This is all a scam. We're sponsored by Neil Druckmann. He's actually here with me right now. The Last of Us 2 is a good game. And that's it.
You sound like you're at gunpoint. Is Neil Druckmann telling you to say it's a good
No,
game?
he's at gunpoint.
Oh, you're okay.
I'm the one.
Okay,
This is from me, not him.
Does he think it's a bad game, or are you just?
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't think he does. I'm going to assume he doesn't. Next week we're going to be reviewing Nier Automata. I don't think there's going to be. Maybe they're going to like surprise the director or something, but the plan for next week is to review that. So be prepared. I'm more or less talking to the audience. You've played the game, so you know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I guess I'm also talking to myself because I need to finish my playthroughs.
Play it.
All right. Until next time. Gibby.